Hey guys, it's John. So, Twitch versus YouTube. This is kind of a video that's out of left field, maybe, for my YouTube channel, but I want to talk about this. I was inspired to talk about this for a number of different reasons. One is the very recent news just a couple days ago that big Twitch streamers Timthetatman and DrLupo are the latest streamers to be paid to switch platforms. They now stream exclusively on YouTube. And they join the likes of Dr. Disrespect and Courage JD. And now it seems like YouTube streaming now has some really big personalities at the forefront. I've also seen a lot of Twitch versus YouTube style videos recently from other creators like Asmongold, who's a big Twitch streamer, plays a lot of MMOs. Harris Heller, who recently moved from Twitch to YouTube, talked about his experiences there. And it seems like a lot of other creators too, but it kind of seems like I've noticed the same train of thought from a lot of them seems to be shedding YouTube in a very positive light for streaming, and that the future for streaming is likely going to run through YouTube. And I kind of disagree with that. I kind of had a different perspective, and so I thought it would be cool to make my own video on it. I also wanted to kind of explain my philosophy with Twitch and YouTube for this channel, because I typically stream on Twitch and I make videos on YouTube. And lately, in the past few months, I've been taking Twitch VODs and editing them down, putting them on YouTube as YouTube videos. And I've been doing that more and more recently, something I didn't used to do very often at all. And I kind of wanted to explain why I'm doing that and just talk a little bit more about how I think of things, basically. But before I get into the state of each platform, I would be remiss to not mention that the state of Twitch right now is incredibly volatile for more than one reason. The main issue happening on Twitch right now is that of rampant hate raids, particularly against marginalized creators, and it's a completely unacceptable situation. If you don't know the details, I'll give you the cliff notes. Basically, there are some losers out there, provocative losers, that are creating these big bot raids and are raiding people with tons of bots that are spamming slurs and just all sorts of awful things. They have become much more frequent in the past few weeks, and so far, Twitch has done absolutely nothing about it. So it's a very frustrating situation right now on Twitch. In this video, I'll be talking more about Twitch as just a more general platform and its streaming capabilities versus YouTube. So maybe you're watching this video because you're already familiar with me and my content, but if you're not, you may be wondering, well, what qualifies this guy to talk about this at all? So I'll just run through some really quick things. I've been doing YouTube full-time for 6 years, which is nothing to scoff at in a industry that has very short careers on average. I've been a Twitch partner for 5 years. I've streamed not just on Twitch, but also I spent 9 months streaming on YouTube. I streamed on Facebook for a little bit. I even streamed on Justin TV back in the day. Some of you old schoolers might be around from then. Maybe you remember the Team Fortress 2 streams that I streamed on 160p on satellite internet. Good times. I do well on both Twitch and YouTube, and we'll talk more about that later. But you get the point. I know I'm just like another guy, but you know, I have been doing this for a long time, and I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about. So before I get into my take on things, I'm going to be going through some common arguments for each platform, starting with Twitch, the current king of streaming. But for how long? We'll see. So the main perk for Twitch is that it has great monetization. There's really like a culture of giving on Twitch. There's gift subs and bits. There's hype trains. Twitch has just so many ways for stream viewers to give the streamer money that aren't just about transfer of funds. It's also like if you gift someone a sub, they get access to the full array of emotes that the streamer has available. You know, if you give enough bits, you get a bit badge. People wear those as like, you know, symbols of pride. And there's just a lot. It's a much different culture than on YouTube, where people just would rather not. And that's fine. That's fine. I personally have the hype trains turned off. I have Streamlabs tips turned off. I have very limited ways for people to give me money on Twitch. So that's not really a main aspect for me, but for a lot of people, it's a big attractor, especially for smaller streamers. If if you are a smaller creator, if you average like, I don't know, 20, 30 viewers, for example, on a stream on Twitch, you're going to make more money from that than you are from making like 1,000 views per video on YouTube. You just are. And that's because of Twitch's culture. If one person gives you $1 on Twitch, that's more than them watching like a lifetime worth of ads on YouTube. Another common argument for streaming on Twitch is that it's a dedicated live streaming platform and it's the biggest one. So like, for example, for video, like, who's the king of video? It's YouTube. So if you've got a video, where do you upload it? Do you upload it to Twitch or YouTube? You upload it to YouTube, obviously, right? So then why wouldn't you just stream to Twitch? It just makes sense. It's like, it's the place to be for live streaming, especially for gaming. So I'm just presenting, I don't necessarily agree with these arguments, I'm just presenting them to you, the common ones that I've heard, you know, for each platform. Now, some common arguments against Twitch are that streams on there are not discoverable. It has an incredibly ineffective algorithm, whereas YouTube is basically all algorithm. That's how you find everything on YouTube. But on Twitch, they have directory-based browsing. So what I mean by that is that each game on Twitch has a directory, and the way that you find new streams is typically you find a game that you like, a game directory, and then, you know, you look through the directory for streams to watch. And with that being the case, it inevitably creates a system in which small streams are kind of buried. Like if you're streaming for 5 people, like you're not gonna get anyone dropping by your stream probably. And if you stream for like 1,000 people, you're probably gonna have a lot more people just dropping in and out, checking you out because they like the game that you're playing, right? So that's considered kind of a con for Twitch. I don't necessarily think it's a con, but I will be talking about that later. Since it's a directory-based discovery too, this makes Twitch, if you're streaming gaming at least, it makes it incredibly dependent on whether or not the game that you're playing is popular or not. So like, if you play League of Legends, right? That's a very popular game. It's got a lot of people browsing the League directory. So you're probably gonna have more of a chance of building a stream if you stream League every time you go live than if you stream variety. And it's mostly just multiplayer games that work well on Twitch. If you've noticed, most of the big Twitch streamers, like almost all of them that stream gaming, are popular for streaming a multiplayer game. They're not sitting there going through single player campaigns. They're sitting there playing Apex or Fortnite or Valorant or League or, you know, something like that. Maybe something more niche like Dead by Daylight or Hunt Showdown, right? But the point is that they're playing something multiplayer. And for this reason, variety streamers and people that play single player games tend to not be able to grow as well because they don't have that directory-based discovery. Like if you go, for example, there are some games on YouTube that work way better on YouTube than on Twitch. Historically, I don't know if it's still the case. I don't know if it's still popular, but historically on YouTube, the game Totally Accurate Battle Simulator has been just a ticket for 1 million view videos, we'll say that. And it's like the definition for me of a YouTube game. It does really well on YouTube, but let's say you're a YouTuber and you're like, I'm gonna do a Twitch stream. I'm gonna stream Totally Accurate Battle Simulator on Twitch. It gets 1 million views on YouTube, it's gonna do well on Twitch too. Wrong. You stream on Twitch, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, no one is browsing that directory. You have like, I don't know, 80 viewers stream and you're like, what happened? What went wrong? Well, you were streaming a game that literally no one is browsing Twitch for. And this is kind of a unique situation for Twitch. There are just games that work on Twitch that don't work elsewhere, and there's games that work elsewhere that don't work on Twitch. Like, another example I would use is Clash Royale. It's a Supercell game, people that made Clash of Clans. It's a very popular mobile game, right? However, if you try to find streams of it on Twitch, it's like completely dead. No one streams that game. Hi, Editing John here. Embarrassing faux pas here in the video. I claimed that the Clash Royale category is dead, but then I actually looked while I was editing, and it is very alive at the moment, albeit this is an outlier being propped up by 2 very large streamers. Just for context though, here's a graph of the game category's historical numbers. I guess recently the company's been incentivizing people to stream it. So bad example, but the spirit of the example is still generally true. And it's weird because it's a multiplayer game, it's very popular. But the thing is, like, people that are into these extremely popular mobile games, they're not really into streaming. They're not really into game streaming. So it's like you got to think about these things when you're analyzing these platforms. It's like, what are you going to use it for? What are you going to use streaming on Twitch for? And would that use be better suited for another platform? But I'm getting ahead of myself. So that's basically like common arguments for and against streaming on Twitch, right? Let's talk about YouTube, the current king of VODs, but can they take over streaming? I don't think so. We'll get to that later. YouTube, the big pro for YouTube that I hear a lot is that it has more discoverability. It's got an admittedly often oppressively present algorithm that is constantly promoting things in your recommended sidebar. Like, that's how people fall down YouTube rabbit holes. They look in the recommended constantly. That's how people on YouTube browse. They browse through what the algorithm feeds to them. It's not like on Twitch where they're like, I like Fortnite, so I'm gonna browse Fortnite streams. And then that's the end of it. If you're not streaming Fortnite, I don't know about you. On YouTube, you know, maybe I'll dip my toes in a Fortnite video, and then I'll see like an Apex video in my sidebar and like, ooh, I like that creator. I'm clicking on that video. And so YouTube has a lot of ways to keep you, you know, going down that rabbit hole. So a lot of people will list the discoverability and like the algorithm and the chance for you to blow up, bro, on YouTube. But the thing is, like, YouTube doesn't really have that for live streams. They have that for videos, and mostly for non-gaming videos, if I'm honest. They don't really have that for streams. In fact, it's a little difficult to find streams on YouTube, and which is a common argument against streaming on YouTube, is that there's no, like, there's no streaming browsing page. There's no landing page for browsing YouTube streams. They used to have one. It was YouTube Gaming, gaming.youtube.com. That was the place where you could find everybody streaming on YouTube. The thing is, nobody went to that landing page, which is why they got rid of it, because people don't browse YouTube like that. They don't go to YouTube browsing random live streams. It just isn't a culture for it on YouTube for browsing streams. You watch because like you might think, well, a lot of people have a lot of success on YouTube streaming though, and you're right. You know, you might drop into a Dr. Disrespect stream and see tens of thousands of people there and be like, well, he's doing pretty well for himself and he's streaming on YouTube. Yeah, you're right. But people are there to watch him. That's the thing, is that these massive creators like Timthetatman and DrLupo, they're going to do great on YouTube because they already have this massive, tens of thousands strong audience that are going to watch them do pretty much anything. And they're going to come to YouTube, they're going to watch their stream, and then they're going to go screw off and watch a bunch of videos and fall down a video rabbit hole. That's what's going to happen when the stream ends. They're not going to... I heard Asmongold say this in his video, and I disagree with it. Because his vision of things was that people would watch like a Dr. Disrespect stream, and then when he ends, they'd watch a DrLupo stream, and then when he ends, they'd watch a Timthetatman stream. And that's... I completely disagree that that's what would happen, or that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be like you watch the Timthetatman stream, and then when it ends, you look in your recommended sidebar and you click on a video and you go down a video rabbit hole. I don't think that YouTube really has a stream after stream after stream viewing culture, and that could change in the future, but right now that's just not the case, and I don't see it changing from the addition of two big streamers, even if they are some of the biggest names in the world. But I'm getting a little bit too much into my opinion, so let's continue down arguments that people make for and against Twitch. So another common argument for YouTube is that it has a much wider audience. If you look at YouTube as a platform, and I have more details on this later, it's just so much bigger than Twitch. It completely dwarfs Twitch. And the reason for that is because there is a lot of non-gaming content on YouTube. It's a much more mainstream platform. And so if you're streaming gaming, you might think like, well, YouTube has like so many more people. There's so many more views to be spread around. And you're right, but not for you. I'm sorry to break the news. It's not for you. People are watching like Ace Family House Tour videos, or Jake Paul are not gonna be watching your Warframe stream. Sorry, it's just not, it's not the same world. You can't really compare it. I think that there is merit to talking about YouTube's wider audience, but it's only when you reach a certain level where your ceiling kind of transcends just the gaming audience, but we'll talk about that later. Another common argument for YouTube is that it has a better video player, which you can't argue with. There's automatic transcoding options, which if you're not familiar with that term, it's the quality options. Like you click the cog wheel and you can change the quality. YouTube has that like automatically. On Twitch, you have to have an established audience to get that. So it's definitely something worth considering. Also, like just straight up, YouTube just has a better video player than Twitch. So there's that too. Like transcoding aside, I can't tell you how many people I've seen that watch me on YouTube but can't watch me on Twitch because their internet or their computer can't handle Twitch's streams, but for some reason it can handle YouTube. So I can only chalk that up to having a superior video player. So what do I think about all this? What a great question. I'm here to answer it. So let's talk a little bit about my story. You guys are clicking off the video. Okay, so it's good to have both. But if you're making videos and streaming on YouTube, you're putting all of your eggs in one basket. And frankly, I just don't really trust YouTube with these things. The oppressive algorithm that I mentioned before, I've seen it like actively screw over channels over keeping their stream VODs around because it just messes it up. It doesn't know how, it's gotten a little bit smarter over the years, frankly, to be fair. It doesn't know how to fairly balance seeing like a 4-hour stream VOD and seeing like a 10-minute vlog on the same channel. YouTube algorithm really likes consistency. And for me, if you're gonna stream on YouTube, I wouldn't keep the VODs around, personally. That's just how I would do things. I think one of the reasons that I've watched a lot of these Twitch versus YouTube videos that shed YouTube in a more positive light than Twitch, I think it's because it really is a move that would be good for like really big creators. Like I think one of the reasons that Asmongold, for example, was talking so highly about YouTube streaming is that it would be, honestly, I think a great move for him. It's because Twitch is a smaller platform in a lot of ways. You have a much higher ceiling on YouTube when you get to that point. I think when you get to the point on Twitch where you're in like the top 100, top 50 creators, like there's hardly any risk to putting all your eggs in one basket on YouTube, because YouTube can, like I said, the algorithm will work for you at that point. Both Twitch and YouTube are rich get richer systems. Because a lot of people bring this up as like a bad thing about Twitch is like, well, the big streamers just stay big streamers and no one else can get in. Well, YouTube is also set up to make the rich richer. It hasn't always been that way, but it's been that way for a year or two now, maybe even longer. The YouTube algorithm used to like drop people back in the day, and it like straight up does not do that anymore. There are so many people on YouTube that should have fallen off by now, but haven't, because the algorithm is propping them up because they're just so large at this point. I'm sure you've seen these channels, these like, they all look like this. They all look like this. It's like these reaction thumbnail style videos. These are what I would call like algorithm channels. They're just propped up by the algorithm. They're just propped up by being in people's recommended and clicking on them. And more power to them, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, YouTube is set up to keep big channels big now. It's not like it was 5 years ago or more, where they had a different system and like you had to keep daily uploading and you had to be on the ball, and if you weren't, then the evil Babadook algorithm was gonna get you. It's not like that anymore. And I think that if you're a really big creator on Twitch, it's a good idea to entertain moving to YouTube. And so I think a lot of the perspectives that I'm seeing these videos from are from that perspective, but I would argue that for 99.9% of streamers out there, if you're streaming on Twitch and you're making videos on YouTube like you're supposed to, moving from Twitch to YouTube for streaming ain't the move. I think it'll, if anything, having like inconsistent content on your YouTube channel of like, oh, I've got a 4-hour stream VOD, I've got a 10-minute, edited video. That stuff is gonna mess it up. The algorithm doesn't like stuff like that. It likes things that are easily categorizable. Is that a word? It likes things that it can put into little boxes and be like, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. And if you do stuff like that, it gets confused and it just doesn't like it. It can work for some people if they're big enough. But I would, like I said, for the 99.9% of creators out there, it's just not really something that I think is going to work. On that note, YouTube has paid out big contracts for Dr. Disrespect, Courage JD, Timthetatman, DrLupo. They're building a great, how should I say this, like COD bro fan base. Like people might go to YouTube now and start browsing streams for shooter games, but it still hasn't created like an ecosystem for small or mid-range streamers. Like you're just not going to have any luck, I don't think, growing a variety stream or like a more niche game. Like I don't know who streams Dead by Daylight on YouTube. I don't know. I can't name a single person that does that. Every Dead by Daylight streamer I know about is on Twitch. And that's because there's an ecosystem for a smaller like niche game like that. There's not something for that on YouTube. Is the Dead by Daylight video world, like, is that good enough? Yeah. Tons of people watch videos of DBD on YouTube, but it doesn't really have that streaming audience. Now, with all that said, I do need to mention that I do see a lot of Twitch streamers get kind of tunnel visioned on making content only on Twitch, and it's very difficult as a small to mid-range streamer to grow just on Twitch because, like I said, it's got this category like directory-based browsing, and if you're not one of the top streamers for a category, you get some trickle down from being in a big directory, but it's not a reliable trickle down, and you might get like a big raid from somebody who's streaming the same game, but it's unlikely, and it's hard to grow just on Twitch. So what you need to do is you need to do everything. You need to, I think, this is how I think of things. Okay, I'm looking how to summarize things because I tend to ramble. Here's how I think of things. If you're looking to grow as a small to mid-range creator who's interested in streaming, I would say stream gaming on Twitch, okay? And make videos and other short form content on YouTube and TikTok. I'm gonna come across as a massive hypocrite now because I don't have a TikTok, but it's a great idea to be on there. And also, upload like little clips and other short form video to Twitter and Instagram for that matter. I think that you gotta kind of put one egg in each basket, and that's how you grow. It's the way that you grow on Twitch is making content elsewhere that directs towards it. And it's you might be like, oh, well, why don't I just do everything on one platform? But we already talked about that, so you weren't paying attention, I guess. And for what it's worth, like, I'm really rooting for YouTube in the streaming space. I think that Twitch does need a stiffer competition for streaming, just like YouTube, frankly, needs any competition at all for video. Remember VidMe and all these other competitors that got shut down eventually? Like, they need somebody. I don't know who, but it's got to be backed by a major corporation. So, it'd be cool if, say, Twitch got a little bit more into the VOD space, but I think they've got enough problems they need to work on right now. So anyway, those are my rambling thoughts on Twitch versus YouTube. And hopefully, if you're like a fan of me and you didn't just find this like through your recommended or anything, that you kind of understand why I've been going so hard at both Twitch and YouTube recently and really trying to diversify platforms. For what's worth, though, some people on YouTube are like, he plays so much on Twitch now. Like, I've been on Twitch for 5 years. You just haven't noticed. I just haven't been uploading the stuff onto YouTube. So it's nothing new. I've been a Twitch partner for 5 years. I've been streaming there 3 to 4 days a week for like 5 years. So I don't know. But perception trumps reality, I guess. So that's pretty much all I had to say. It wasn't very organized, but hopefully it was informative or at least interesting. If you disagree, these are things that are all a matter of opinion anyway. Everything that I stated was just my perspective on things. I have been doing this for a long time, and I think I know what I'm talking about, but people can be wrong all the time, and especially in this industry, things are pretty unpredictable, I would say. Things are pretty volatile and change all the time. It's really difficult to see which way the wind is blowing until it's too late. So I'm gonna leave you with that dark thought about your future if you're a content creator. Thanks for watching though, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm eager to hear them. All right, thanks guys. Think critically.